going on, everybody? MSD here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. You see the scenery is a little different. I'm home now for just a little while for the break. But I wanted to go over my roster after Cyber Weekend. I spent a little bit on Cyber Weekend. I actually spent less than I thought I was going to. I didn't buy out the entire store. I really didn't buy that much. I bought, I think, 2 Odins, a Black Panthers, and then I got all of the Paragon $10 deals, and then I got the Reliquary offer. So I didn't even touch like 500, which I think was going to be my hard limit. I didn't even get close. So I actually got away with a lot, and I'm very happy with all that I've spent. So I want to go over the roster improvements. You can kind of see some of them now. We might as well start with the 6 stars, since that's the lesser of the improvements, or there were less of them, should I say. Only really 2. Let's start with, of course, the man at the top of my profile now, Ascended Rank 5 Doctor Doom. Now, I've always loved Doctor Doom. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire game, and I told myself I'm not going to invest in Doom if I can't take him all the way on the main account. On the free-to-play account, I have him at rank 5, but if I'm going to take him up on the main account, I want to take him up all the way. And I had the opportunity to take him to rank 5 with one of my gems from Necropolis, and then I was able to get an Ascension from the Cyber Weekend store. So I thought, what better way to celebrate than to take up one of my favorite champions. I know, overpowered, but whatever. It's not Hercules, don't worry. It's not that bad. And Doom's never going to be a 7-star, so ascending the 6-star rank 5 is a pretty good idea, because Doom, he's still kind of like the best Mystic in the game. So it's better to have him here now for the sake of longevity, rather than wait, however many years, and then maybe he's not as relevant because 7-star ranks are just that much higher. So I'd rather use him now and get the use out of him rather than wait and miss it. So that was not the first thing I did, but the first thing I'm showing. And then second, when it comes to the 6 stars, is I finally took my She-Hulk up to rank 5. I'm not going to take her to Sig 200. I don't believe she needs Sig 200. One dupe is just fine, and I was, I guess, fortunate enough to pull her a few times from the last featured 6-star crystal. So I'm very happy with rank 5 She-Hulk. It's just something that I was always going to do. I just didn't know when I was going to do it. So that's really it for the 6 stars. Let's move on to the 7-star roster. Now, I didn't pull that many new champions. I only actually pulled 1 new champion from the Titan Crystal I opened yesterday. I opened 2 Titan Crystals, and I got Colossus. Now, I love Colossus. He's one of my favorite mutants. I've made so many Colossus videos on the channel. Like, that was a big thing. Back in, 2020, I made so many Colossus videos. So I'm very happy to have him as a 7-star, and I honestly would not be upset about awakening him, because I would rank him up. I would invest in him. I do like Colossus that much. So it's not the absolute best pull because the immediate use is not there. That's kind of the theme for a lot of my Titan pulls, except for one champ in particular, which you've probably already seen. But for the most part, it's not a very useful pull immediately, but it's a long-term play. It's exactly how I feel about my Dani Moonstar, because I like Dani Moonstar a lot. One of the most underrated characters of 2023, in my opinion. There's a lot of hype for her coming out, and then once she's out in the wild, not too much going on. She's got great damage, and I would honestly love to awaken her because the dupe is very nice to have. But I feel the same way about Colossus as I feel about Dani. Dani was from my Necropolis Exploration Titan Crystal, and I like Dani, but there's no immediate use for Dani or Colossus. So it doesn't make it as fun to pull them, because I can't just jump into to new content right away or have some fun with them, because I either already have them ranked up, which is the case for both of them, or they need the dupe to be effective, which is more so lying on the Colossus side than the Dani side, because you can use Dani unawakened. But that's kind of how I feel about those 2 champs for my Titan Crystal. But then let's move on here a little bit. Let's just scroll up. So from the Paragon crystals, I actually awakened my 7-star Hulk. So happy about this. Hulk will make his way up to rank 2 at some point. I don't know when. He's kind of in that so overpowered I'm a little scared to rank him category, but I know how strong he is, and I know how much of a sneaky defender he can be in Battlegrounds, so I'm definitely going to get Hulk ranked up. Very happy to have him awakened. It's nice to have, and I'm honestly so glad the dupe came from a Paragon Crystal, because I wouldn't have been thrilled if it came from a basic, but I would have been okay with it. But to come from a Paragon Crystal, especially with all that ISO that I gained, that's why I bought all those Paragon Crystal offers, because of all the ISO and the potential for 7 stars. And I got one 7-star dupe, and it was a good one. I'll take it. So very happy about the Hulk. And then let's move on to probably my least favorite pull from the entire day is my Sig 40 on Terrax. Now, I didn't record this crystal because I didn't know how many 7-star basics I was actually going to open, because I knew my opening wasn't going to be that big. It was just going to be like mainly Titan crystals and then a rank up or two. So not much to record in terms of crystal openings. I didn't open that many crystals. But my first 7-star from the Odin that I bought was a Sig 40 on Terrax. Could have been a lot worse, but it could have been so much better. It only increases his power by like 4%, so it really doesn't do that much. But at the end of the day, Terrax is a defender. I do have him in my Battlegrounds deck, and now that he is Sig 40, it does incline me to think about a rank 2 investment down the line. So it could have been so much better, but it could have been so much worse. So he's like middle of the ground. Not my favorite thing in the world, but I'll take it nonetheless. So then moving up here, we have... Right, so let me talk about Wong here for a second. So by the time you're seeing this video, you'll have seen my fully itemless Necropolis path. I took Wong to rank 2 with Catalyst that I had, just saved up Catalyst that I was not using at the time, that I was saving for this, but I didn't know how many Catalysts I was going to get. And then I saw Swedes do his itemless path, and I was like, you know what, I think I can do that, but I wanted to do a different path. So I was scouting out the paths because I couldn't do the path he did, and of course I didn't want to just copy him, but I didn't have Odin, so I couldn't have done it regardless. But I saw that the Titania APOC path looked very attainable for the characters that I had, but I was missing just a few key components, specifically a counter to Hercules. I didn't really have a great counter that I could rely on, because Kate works, but if Kate doesn't have enough health, it's very easy to die in that fight. And then came along Wong. And huge shout out to Normax for recording all this incredible Wong gameplay. You should definitely check out his channel. I've always liked Wong. I've learned, and I wouldn't say mastered, but I've learned and applied Wong in a lot of different content. Like I've done an Abyss Collector solo. I've done a lot of different Abyss fights with Wong. I know how to use Wong. And I pulled him as a 7-star from my Necropolis Completion Mystic Crystal. So I had him, and I had the materials to rank him up. I wanted to do an itemless path, and the opportunity presented itself beautifully. And I took Wong up, and within the day, I had it done. So Wong wasn't a rank up correlated to Cyber Weekend, but he was close enough to Cyber Weekend where I can say, yeah, I took up Wong around the time of Cyber Weekend. And of course, Titania and Maestro, they went up after Necropolis, so not exactly Cyber Weekend adjacent. But here we go, we're getting into like the main Cyber Weekend rank ups. I believe it was 4 new rank 2 7-stars, which is huge for me. Rank 2 7-stars. I used to not have that many, but now I've got quite a few. So I'm very happy with the expansion of my 7-star roster. Let's start down here with Killmonger. Oh boy, this guy. Menace on defense, underrated on offense. Not much more to say about Killmonger. He's just fantastic. So happy to have him awakened. Such a strong defender. And yeah, I cannot wait to throw him on defense and hopefully make people cry a little bit. So yeah, not much more to say about Killmonger. But then we got these 3 guys right here. Mr. Negative, Iron Man, and Bishop. These are some rank ups I honestly was not expecting to make. Maybe the Bishop was a little more expected than the rest of them. But Mr. Negative, let's just start with him. Mr. Negative was rank 1, level 1, unawakened when Cyber Weekend, when Black Friday deals went live. I pulled him from the second 7-star from the second Odin that I got, and something just told me, rank up Mr. Negative, learn how to play him, and you will not regret it. And I'm in the process of doing that right now. I was not a Mr. Negative player, but I feel like having this powerful character awakened as a 7-star it's kind of impossible to pass up on ranking him. And I'm not one to shy away from a skill heavy character, and Mr. Negative seems to be a skill heavy character. So I'm going to learn how to use him efficiently. I'm already learning. I know how to use him generally. I want to know how to use him much, much, much better than I know currently. So I plan on practicing, doing some reps and content. I really want to learn how to use Mr. Negative well because I've seen the gameplay with him, especially with that Valkyrie synergy, and it's just nuts. So yeah, Mr. Negative, so happy to have him awakened. He gains so much from Sig 20. Literally so many things. The regen from the degen, the direct damage when the physical damage when he's immune to a Nullify, Stagger, or Fate Seal, which is good for defense. I mean, he gains so many things from the Awakened ability. So I'm so happy to have him at rank 2, and in the near future, I plan to become a very proficient Mr. Negative player. I'm not one to shy away from admitting where I am not proficient, and Mr. Negative is one of those characters. I'm not a very good Mr. Negative player now, but I plan to become one. That's why I ranked him up. Motivation to become a good Mr. Negative player. Now, this guy right here, Awakened 7-star Iron Man. This was from the Valiant bundle from the web store. I told my Airbnb mates, Lagacy, Andrew the Rough, Bittersteel, and Captain Bay, that after I pulled 7-star Iron Man for my first Titan Crystal, if I were to pull him again, I'd rank him up in a heartbeat because I really like Iron Man. And I just so happened to dupe Iron Man. Now, it's interesting because I've only opened 4 Titans and 2 of them have an Iron Man. So I'm not exactly hitting the best odds on Titan Crystals, but at least Iron Man is so strong. One of the best characters in the Titan Crystal if you can get him awakened. I think the dupe is very make or break, especially for the 7-star, because the 6-star you can awaken him, it doesn't matter, put it in 6 stones, but the 7-star, man, you want to invest in the 7-star? You can. He's strong, so strong, unawakened, but the awakened ability just adds that much more power. You get the regen, you get the increased potency of armors, the doubled block proficiency. I mean, so many things from one dupe, and I couldn't help myself. I saw that I duped Iron Man. I got the 1 to 2 gem, immediately took him up, and I have been absolutely thrilled with every single part of it. I have probably an Iron Man video coming out sometime next week because he's just that cool. I actually did a Necropolis Sauron solo with Iron Man, and yeah, he crushed that, man. It was super fun. So I'm a big fan of Iron Man, and I'm very happy to have him awakened. He is probably one of the best buffs they've done in a long time. They haven't done like a full rework in a while, and yeah, Iron Man, he the fresh coat of paint is so good. So yeah, very happy about the rank 2 Iron Man. And then finally finishing it all off, we have Bishop. I awakened Bishop on I believe my 5th Necropolis path from the 7-star crystal from the path itself, and it was just a matter of time before I got Bishop ranked up. I had materials ready to go, and it just seemed like the right call. I like Bishop a lot. Great dual threat for Battlegrounds, and just solid utility overall. Like, very, very strong mutant. And I know I'm not going to regret ranking up Bishop, especially because I have him awakened. So yeah, guys, that's really it. Let's just show the top roster here. Look at this, man. The account, post Necropolis and post, I guess you could call it tuna-ing on Cyber Weekend, because I didn't whale. I didn't get everything, but I spent a bit. The roster's looking good. So yeah, expect some Iron Man videos coming soon, and hopefully expect some Mr. Negative content as well. I think those 2 are probably my favorite rank ups of the entire weekend. So yeah, expect some content with these guys. I'm going to leave it off on the Iron Man because it's definitely my favorite thing from this weekend is getting this Iron Man awakened and bring him to rank 2. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next one.